Okay, I know. Yeah, look. Okay, the thumbnail is probably a pumpkin or it's a pumpkin looking knife. Why do I have this one? Well, this knife right here, well, that's not very professional, is it? Hold on. That's not either. Come on. There we go. It's early and I just woke up. Okay. So, this knife started it. This is a Spyderco Para II clone, from what I understand. I've had a lot of people explain some of the differences and tell me some stuff. I even had someone offer to send some real ones as comparisons. I haven't seen the knives, but I've seen an offer anyway. So this one started it, and I got some negative feedback because it's a clone, but I like the knife. I really do. As a matter of fact, you can look at it bad, but this knife, this clone, this uh, uh, counterfeit, whatever you want to call it, this knife right here made me want a real one. And I'll probably end up with a real one because of this knife. So they're not all bad. But I followed it up with this one. Now, this one was because of a comment on this one. So these are exactly the same. No difference, except this one is coated and the internals is coated. And the uh, pocket clip is coated. They're exactly the same. This knife is a little better though in out of the box opening and everything. I did find out that these are not threaded, or is it? Yeah, the top ones are not threaded. So I am going to see about threading those just to see. Because I don't like tip up carry. I've put my hand in my pockets before, and I've found out that my knife blade has come out. Uh, so I prefer tip down, and I just naturally grab a knife and come out like this to open to do whatever. Uh, so this knife right here, um, the only negative about the knife itself is someone told me I bought one of those years ago, and the only issue was the steel is a little soft and you have to sharpen it, and it rusts. And so when I saw this one, I was like, man, let me check that one out. And I got it, and I'm very impressed with it. And again, this knife has made me definitely, let me make that look kind of even. This knife has reinforced the fact that I want one of these. I want a real Spyderco Para II because of these knives. So now let's get to the green pumpkin. So I was wanting to check out a clone, counterfeit, whatever, Para III, and it's my understanding that the Para III is a little smaller than the Para II. Um, I don't know why. I mean, that sounds backwards to me, but I guess it's okay. Um, and I asked them to tell me what the differences was, and I don't remember. I need to go back to that comment and look at it to see what they said. But it was something with the screws and the lanyard loop and say like this standoff or pin right here. I think it was like on these you have the pivot pin and two case screws, and then here is just simply a lanyard hole. But on this one, you've got the pivot pin, two body screws, and then another one down here. And you also have a lanyard hole. So I think that's kind of what the difference was, that the Para III had more screws, more connection points. You can reverse this pocket clip from left to right carry. And if I remember right, I think I can reverse these from left to right. I just can't. There's no threads up here. And there may not be any here. I don't remember. I don't know if I tried to reverse the left or right. But this one you can, obviously. The way the design is, there's no way that you can stop it. from doing that. So I hadn't opened this very much, only a couple of times. Let's see if I can open it. I have to kind of, so yeah, so that was pretty good. So this one out of the box is the easiest opening out of all of them. The blade, there's just a little bit of left and right play and a little bit of up and down. The blade feels solid, but I mean, I can, and the only way I can feel or tell that there's any wobble is because I can feel it, you know, in the joint there. And so the, let's see, do you have, yeah, you have a blade stop on the back, and there's a blade stop here. Kind of give you a little gander on the back side. So here's the lanyard loop on the Para II. There's the lanyard loop on the Para III. Cross pin, cross pin, cross pin, and then another cross pin at this pivot point, and another one here at this pivot point. Now it appears that the blade stop is larger on the smaller knife. Here the blade lock is about half, or I'd say a third of the way across the blade. And this is right at the beginning of the blade, and this one is almost to the far side of the blade. So this has the least amount of lockup life. This has the most, and this is getting close to the middle. And so that's kind of the what I'm seeing with these clones. They are not. Let's just do this. They are, you know, they seem to be pretty decent. The ones the three that I have here, and I've only got these three. They seem to be pretty decent. They are trying to make a full knockoff. I can see branding on the blades. So these blades are the same, and so you can see the branding there and on both sides of the blade is what you've got here. And of course it says CPM S30V. This says CTS BD1N. And so you can take that alphabet soup with a, for what it's worth. In my mind, there's no way that that's really what the steel is. But then again, these knives are for fidgeting and playing. I will, I think, carry these at some point just to see what's what. The handle on this one is, it's machined as though it's micarta, but I believe that is G10 or a knockoff of G10. I don't know. They have to save money somewhere, so I would assume that's how they would do it, along with the blade steel itself. The blade steel is a huge part of the cost of a knife, and this right here is actual micarta, and I said that in the video review of this one, and I assume it's probably something. For all I know, it's micarta cardboard. I don't know. I don't know what, but I'm sure they've caught whatever costs they can to bring the price of this knife down to 14, 14, 14. They were all $14 a piece. And so, and I believe they were all bought from Temu. So, and this is sandwich. This is micarta, exactly the way they make micarta. And so I've thought about making micarta out of cardboard. Actually, at some point I probably will. So I think I explained what micarta is, but micarta is basically material that is sandwiched in layers, and usually you will spread a resin, the material, resin, material, resin, material, until you've built it up, and then you'll compress it and squish it and until it is dry, and then you shape it and form it into whatever. So the material really doesn't matter that much. I don't think. I'm sure it's got some longevity between. I've done it with denim before and just random tablecloth type material. It may have been tablecloths, as a matter of fact. I've got to find that because I really want to do something with it. Um, but it's the effect you get out of micarta whenever you start machining it and shaping it. Because you want to try to use something that will absorb some of that resin in between the layers. And that compression will cause that to happen, especially with a fabric. So a lot of times with fabric like denim or something of that nature is the perfect source to make your micarta out of. And then of course you just get it to the thickness that you need it to be at and then shape it into whatever you need it to be shaped into. I mean, you can literally take and make you a sheet of micarta and then cut that into strips and then layer that together to make it large enough to actually shape a handle for a fixed blade knife or just whatever you want to do. They make micarta for everything. It's the resin that's the more important part of micarta because the resin will, excuse my fingernails. I worked on the truck yesterday afternoon, and even a shower apparently does not get the oil out from underneath your fingernails. But anyway, so I it's the resin that's the more important part of the micarta that you use. And so it provides the strength, support, and longevity of encapsulating what it's. I know big words. I do. And I even know what some of them means. I get in trouble with some of them and some probably never mind. But anyway, I get in trouble using big words, but still I know what some of them means. So that is what gives the strength to whatever the material is you're trying to use. And I really would like to try to experiment with some cardboard, making micarta and then getting it wet and just to see after machining it and shaping it and getting it wet just to see what it'll do. That may be a future video. But anyway, let's get away from micarta. This again, I think is a G10 or a plastic type. I don't know if G10 is expensive. I don't know if it is costly. And so it would be something they would, use to cut corners. I don't really know. But it feels solid, but it is a liner inside there, and it is a encapsulated liner, so it is inside the. It's not molded into the scales, but it's inside the scales, and so the scales are covering it. And so something I'm noticing is this one is all white. Virgin metal or whatever you want to call it. It's not, doesn't seem to have any treatment on it, any coating or anything whatsoever. And then this one, which is the black version, is everything is coated. Everything that's not coated here is coated here. From the hardware to the blade, the liners, everything is coated. And then when I get to this one right here, again, same thing, except everything is coated orange. And you can see, and I don't know if you can pick it up, but let me try to turn the blade a little bit so that maybe you can catch that. But right there is an imperfection in the paint. And I assume this is paint of some form or fashion, some kind. I don't know how good the paint is, how well it'll hold up, or what, who knows. The hardware on this one, that appears to be painted for sure. This one, I'm not sure. I think that may be blued, potentially through an oil bluing or a heat process, maybe with salts. But that seems to be bluing. This definitely is painted. All of this stuff is painted to make it orange. And of course, I don't know how flimsy the handles are because of the liners that's on the inside. But it is solid. I mean, you can see I'm moving it a little bit, but I'm squeezing a lot. And so the overall, the knife looks like a toy. As a matter of fact, Dave, we were talking about these knives, and he made the comment because I told him I found an orange bladed knife that I think was a pair of three. I'm sorry. And he said, "Yeah, I got that one, and it just looked like a toy." And he found another one he thinks is a pretty good one. and I'm going to see about maybe potentially ordering that at some point. But I'm kind of holding off on ordering anything because I really got to pay some bills down, big time. So I'm not gonna order anything anytime soon. It'll be later on down the road. But regardless, this right here, it it's very shiny. The paint finish is definitely a gloss finish, but it doesn't feel like it's going to come off. It doesn't feel like it's going to wear off very easily. I could be very much wrong with that. Now this blade feels super super sharp, and with all of them, I mean, you're cutting at the bevel, and it's duller down here. Um, do not feel any rolled edges on the blade. You've got the same type of jimping. Ice cow. I said jimping, not gimping. So jimping. You've got the same jimping, but only it's smaller on this one right here. It appears to be, I'm going to say, maybe a little more rougher on this one right here. And then, okay, Ice Cow, turn up your volume. No sharpening choil. I got in trouble. I got in trouble, guys. I kept saying chol. I'm a redneck, I guess. I don't know. You call me whatever. I'm Heinz 57, but kept saying chol, and I'm a creature of habit, so I'll probably say that again. But I don't see any sharpening choil on any of these knives, and I don't think I recognize that or mentioned that in the reviews on these two right here. But so really, I think that's really a downside, because you're not going to get your sharp. You're not going to be able to get the file up in here really good, and I'd be very uncomfortable trying to sharpen up to that point. So you're going to end up with one of those funky looking blades that's dipped in, and then you get your sharpening thing going on. So there's a lot of cheap factors to these knives, but I think they have their place in at least letting you know, hey, I want one of those, and that's exactly what these knives have done to me. Uh, Out of all of the Benchmade knockoffs, I like them, but they haven't made me want to go spend $250 or more on a real Benchmade. Now, I've had one real Benchmade in my hands, and it was from the Water series that someone was very kind to allow me to review on the channel. And but that one's kind of a different variant from the normal Benchmade. So I haven't held a real Benchmade. If I did, maybe my attitude would change. But this right here has definitely made me want to get a real Spyderco. And I guarantee you, I go to look and I will find a deal on eBay that will allow me to get a Para III or II, and being really good, being a really good price on it. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there in the future. I'm not going to say the near future. I'm just going to say in the future. I may take and just ask for a Spyderco Para II for Christmas. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll ask for that, and that way I got the potential. Maybe everybody can chip in, and that's what they get me for Christmas. That would be the perfect Christmas gift, to have a real Spyderco Para II. So this knife right here, let's grab it and let's feel it. It's definitely, I like the Para III. I like the look of it, the feel. This one opens and operates a lot better than the other two. Now these I can make open easier, but then I get more blade wobble, and so there's a trade-off there. And I haven't oiled anything. I've oiled this one, And I don't know, I don't think I've oiled this. Maybe I have. I think I've oiled this one. I think I've oiled both of these with my light custom made butcher's block oil mixed with graphite. And I get the best of both worlds with a light oil with that graphite in there, and it'll help them to move and open good once I get it worked in. But so the handle is just it's very it's crowdy. It's crowding my hands. This hump right here, and so this is one of the things that I see about, say, a clone versus a real one. I think these right here are physically close enough that I could use these to gauge whether I want one of this version or that. And so this right here is just too small for my hands. Although I like the function of it, and it seems like it's a whole lot more. See, I just can't do that with my thumb. It's just too, my thumbs are too sharp. My hands are too sharp and pudgy. Uh, so I think this knife handle, the handle is too small. It just, I mean, the whole handle disappears in my hand. So this is a little bit too small for me. This doesn't bother me. That has zero effect. I just can't feel it in my hands. So that's perfect. Again, I think there's no issue with potentially releasing that blade at all. I think if this right here was maybe trimmed back in a way, that it wouldn't crowd my hand as much, but then my fingers would tend to get on that forward jimping underneath there. I just love that hump there because that just gives you just feel the control of that blade when you've got it like that. But now when I was holding it just like that, you can see in my hand some indentation. So I did feel the backside of this. Now I didn't on these. If you'll notice, those flatten out. And the way that blade is, there's a slight indent there from this portion, but it's not bothersome. I didn't notice it really, but I did on this one right here. So that wire form pocket clip may be a difference. So overall, these knives, I definitely recommend the real thing. And that's without ever having handled a real Spyderco. So I'll tell you what, these have made me want a Spyderco Para II. If that's what this is, a real one. I want one just like this right here. This is what I want for Christmas. A Spyderco Para II in dark coat, black blade, whatever. No, absolutely never any kind of weird serrated blade on there. I can't stand those. But so, if any of my family's watching videos, right there, a real Spyderco Para II. Christmas coming. It's not far off. So, with all that said, I think that the real versions of these knives is a definite. If you are in any way inclined towards them, do it. I'm saying, look, just bite the bullet, go in there and get it. I wish I could, because I would do it. Yeah, I definitely would. And I don't say that about many knives because the clone is sufficient for me. But I really want to do the real thing in one of these here, preferably this one. So anyway, I appreciate you guys sticking around, listening to me ramble and talk about this stuff, and all of that. You've seen these knives, and hopefully you can kind of use these to gauge against how potentially you can, because I don't have a real one to go against. If I ever do get a real one, I will take and compare so you can see the difference between the real thing versus these clone fake counterfeits, and help you identify that so that you don't end up paying real prices for these $14 knives. But that'll be another video if I ever get a hold of a real one. So I thank you guys. I appreciate you. I enjoy spending time with you. I'd ask that you'd like and subscribe, that you would take and join the channel if you feel inclined to do so. And I will see you on the next one. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.